Now we present The Estates by Jeffrey Adams. My name is Peter Williams, and I'm sane. I know that I am completely, utterly, totally sane. But what's happening to me defies sanity itself. It's not me that's crazy. It's this place. I live in a very small town, having moved here for my wife, Wendy. She has a severe condition, a stress disorder, they call it. It got so bad when we were living in the city. Moving was the only way we could stay together. So we packed up our life and came to this idyllic little town in the middle of nowhere. For the first couple of weeks, everything was fine. I think I was enjoying the peace and quiet as much as she was. Then one morning, that hot June morning, here we are.
Oh, Peter.
That new oven we bought was worth it. Look at these scones.
You're spoiling me.
Oh, me spoiling you? Don't be silly. We're having breakfast on the beautiful sunshine on our very own deck, and it's all because of you.
I just wish you wouldn't joke like that.
And I wish you'd accept that I really am very grateful.
You're grateful that I dragged you away from your job, our home.
Well, you took us away from that one-bedroom flea trap we've been thinking about leaving for years, and I brought work with me, remember? Telecommuting, the wave of the future.
You still need to drive back to the city 3 times a month, and
maybe less.
And it's a 4-hour drive.
Wendy, when we lived in the city, I was out of bed at 6 and on the bus by 7. Down here, I work when I want. Now eat.
But
Scone. Doctor's orders. What a perfect day, isn't it? Wendy?
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
What's wrong?
Wrong? Why would anything be wrong?
The doctor said we had to keep open lines of communication, remember? Now, tell me, what is it?
You won't like it.
Now, let me be the judge of that.
Well, have you seen our backyard neighbors?
You mean on the other side of the big fence? No, why?
Well, it's just... this is silly, but no one ever seems to be over there.
So?
Well, it's not right.
Oh, that's probably Roger. Hang on, I should take this.
Is that fence on our property or theirs?
It was ours, I think. Hang on a sec. Hello? Yeah, hi, Roger.
Such a big fence.
No, I don't think so.
But you can barely see what's on the other side. I want to see that house.
That's fine, dear. Well, what does Pearson say?
The house. The estates.
Look, I know that, but there isn't much we can do at this point, is there? That's not even our department. That's marketing. Listen, I'm going to come up day after tomorrow. Why don't we just have a chat then? Wendy! Wendy, what happened?
I don't know where it came from!
What?
Look! My leg!
My God.
It was a cat! A huge, hideous cat by the fence! I didn't see it until...
We need to get that blood cleaned off.
Peter!
And get something
Peter!
on it. What?
We have to leave.
What?
Sell the house. Get out of here.
Now, Wendy.
Get out of here. Now.
Easy. It was just a cat. It just startled you.
Those houses. I'm afraid.
Now, it has nothing to do with the houses. It was just a cat.
They're coming to get me. Peter, they're coming.
Who?
They!
Should have listened. I should have listened to my crazy wife right then and got out. But she had a long-time fear of cats, along with everything else. Maybe I just got to the point where I believe anything except what she told me. Or maybe it was just those houses. They were so bland, so normal. They were big, with no yards, Most of them still smelled of paint. They were so new. Not tract houses exactly, but with a certain sameness about them, a similarity of architecture that appeals to people with more money than imagination. Kind of people you might, invite over for a barbecue, ask to feed the dog when you went away on vacation. Nice, boring, safe people. Safe. I took Wendy inside and gave her one of her sedatives. By that evening, the incident with the cat had been forgotten. 2 days later, I had to head north to the city for a few days' work. I drove at night to avoid the traffic, and because I like driving then. Driving through those long, empty stretches of highway, you feel like you're the only person on earth. I was feeling good. Good to be on the road, and, okay, I'll say it, good to be away from her. I was just 90 minutes from home when... Hello?
Peter?
Wendy?
Peter, help me.
What's wrong?
They're coming over the fence. They're coming for me, Peter. Help me.
I pulled a U-turn and drove home as fast as I could. All the way I kept kicking myself. What the hell had I been thinking? Doctors had assured me that she was stable, but they'd been wrong before. I made up my mind then and there that the only expert I'd ever trust again when it came to my wife's health was me. I was expecting the worst when I got home. I was expecting to find her dead and the house in shambles. I was expecting police sirens and nosy neighbors peeking at us through their curtains. I was expecting anything except what I found. The house was empty and silent. Our little pickup truck, the one Wendy used to drive when she was still able, was missing. Inside, the house was clean, cleaner than I'd ever seen it. Everything was neatly put away. Every hard surface shined with a fresh polishing. It was perfect. The only thing I didn't see was Wendy. She was gone.
And what time did you say you got the call?
It was about 9. I was on the road.
And she sounded upset.
You don't understand. My wife is sick. If she gets upset, she has to be watched. She could harm herself.
Check. Now you say you have a second car, a small pickup?
Uh-huh.
And that's missing?
Yes, but she couldn't have driven it away.
You mean she doesn't drive?
Well, okay, she used to, but she still has a license, I guess. But you don't understand. My wife just isn't capable.
Listen, Mr. Williams, I don't mean to go against anything you say here, but you gotta look at it from my side. You find your house neat as a pin, your truck is missing, and no signs of any trouble. Isn't it just possible your wife popped out for some milk or something?
When she called, she was upset.
Say, there's a small pickup. Is that yours?
Peter?
Wendy? Are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. What are you doing home?
What do you mean, what am I doing
Peter,
home?
well, why are the police here? Officer, is there anything wrong?
No, ma'am. I don't think so. Your husband was concerned about you.
Oh, Peter. It's about that phone call, isn't it?
Wendy?
I just said I missed you. I didn't mean for you to turn around and fly home.
What are you talking about?
Ma'am, are you going to be okay?
Of course. My husband's just tired. Thank you, officer.
That's all right, sir. Is there anything else?
No, nothing else.
Good night, officer, and thank you.
Uh-huh. Take care now.
Okay, what happened?
Nothing, dear.
But on the phone, you sounded so
don't worry about that. Come inside now. To bed.
Wendy?
Yes?
Nothing happened?
Nothing. I swear. On a stack of Bibles.
inside in a kind of trance. Couldn't take my eyes off her. She looked, I don't know, illuminated somehow, as if a light had gone on inside. But it wasn't attractive. The light was showing me things I didn't want to see. The next few days were a tremendous strain. With no jobs to go to, it was just her and I in that house. Day after day, night after night, her watching me. I'd feel a cold tickle on the back of my neck, like the sharp point of an icicle, only to turn and catch a glimpse of her walking away. I couldn't do anything without hearing her nearby, feeling her through the walls. I had to get out of there. There was still work to do at my job in the city, but after my performance on the road that night, our car needed work. It was late one night. I thought she was in bed. I was working at the garage when I looked up and saw her standing in the doorway, watching.
Is everything all right, Peter? I heard the car running.
Yeah, I was getting the oil heated up before I drained it.
Oh, planning on going somewhere?
Oil change is routine. We needed one for weeks.
But you are going somewhere.
You knew I was going to have to go to town sometimes when we moved here.
I know. Are you leaving soon?
I don't know.
Tomorrow?
I don't know. Maybe. No.
No?
Yes. I guess. What's with all this cross-examination? Oh, damn it!
Peter, the oil.
I'd see it. Here, give me those rags.
But why?
What do you mean, why? There's oil all over the floor. What the hell? The oil, it's just evaporating.
Isn't it supposed to do that?
Of course it's not supposed to do that. Oh, there must be a hole in the floor or a crack or something.
Look at it go. All clean now.
Wait a minute. Let me pour some more and see. There, it just disappears. That's the craziest thing I ever saw. Who ever heard of motor oil just evaporating?
Haven't you noticed, Peter? Haven't you noticed, really?
What?
Our house. Our wonderful, magical house. The towels are always hung on the towel rack. The carpet always clean. Your desk is even straightened.
So?
So you don't really think I'm doing all that, do you? I hate to clean.
What hell? Who's doing it then? The house?
From your mouth to God's ear.
Then she took a quart of fresh oil from my hand and poured it right onto my feet. As I watched it just disappeared, evaporated just like before. I stood there not knowing what to say. Oh, this was a stupid magic trick. It had to be, but her reaction, the way she looked at me and that laugh. That unnatural laugh. They all came together like a vice slowly pressing down on my chest. I had to face facts. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Something had happened to her the night I was gone. And if I didn't act quickly, the same thing was going to happen to me.
Peter? Peter, what are you doing out here by the fence?
Is it so strange just to want to stand in your own backyard?
And just stare at a fence?
I'm thinking.
About what?
Do you remember that day last month when the cats scratched you here?
Yes, of course.
You remember what we were talking about right before it happened?
We were talking about how frightened I was of the houses next door.
Yes.
What's the matter? Surprised I remember? Of course I remember, Peter. I was quite afraid of the estates because no one ever seemed to be around. You told me I was silly.
What did you call them?
The estates. That's their name. Well, you were right, of course. I was silly. Silly little Wendy, the frightened mouse.
What's going on?
I don't know what you mean.
Yes, you do. What happened, Wendy? What changed? One minute you pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. The next you act like this. Smug and nasty.
And you don't like it. Do you?
I want you to get better, of course, but it's all happening so fast.
Poor baby. You want the old Wendy back, don't you? Wendy, the silly mouse, the one so afraid of not pleasing you.
What?
So afraid, it nearly drove her insane. Don't feel guilty. I know now it wasn't your fault. It was mine. I was afraid. I was warped and misshapen with fear. But they showed me a way out, Peter.
Who showed you?
They showed me a way to make me free, and they'll show you too.
I stood there, dumb and deaf, staring at my wife for a very long time. Her eyes were like a cat's eyes, a cat that sees a fat mouse. And she was crouched slightly, almost like an animal. I didn't know what to do, so I turned and walked away without saying a word.
The estates, Peter, free.
Free. Why did that sound so horrible? I had to get out of there. I had to think. I walked across the patio and through the back door. Then I wandered the house like a sleepwalker, moving in and out of rooms, listening to the mid-afternoon quiet, touching nothing. It was all so clean, store window, unnaturally clean, not like it was lived in at all. Only one room was barely tolerable. I went to my office and logged on to the internet. No email, as if that had been clean too. I opened up a browser and just started clicking on random sites I'd visited before. After a while, I calmed down enough to start thinking again, and I realized I was at city.com, the information site for our old hometown. You could do all kinds of things there, including look up addresses, search public records. I wondered if you couldn't search public records in our little town. Quick look around the web told me you could. I worked hard for 2 straight hours looking up information on what Wendy had called the estates. I checked phone directories, real estate offices. I found nothing. Then I hung up the computer, called the County Hall of Records, got a sympathetic clerk, and received the shock of my life. According to the plot map, the water map, the power grid, according to every map they had, there was no housing development called the estates, and there never had been. I felt another one of those icy stings at the base of my neck. I turned, expecting to see her standing there, but I was alone. I became aware that the house was unnaturally quiet. Went outside and walked around. Night was coming, and by reflex I grew concerned. I walked into the backyard and returned to the spot along the fence where I'd last seen her. Nothing. I was about to turn away when I noticed something I hadn't before. A piece of the fence was off, out of alignment. I went up for a closer look and grabbed the boards firmly. It was a gate without hinges, just a section of fence that was leaned into place and was freestanding. But it had been moved recently, and as I pulled it over and peered through to the other side, I saw something lying there on the grass. Something small and dark and shaped vaguely like a sleeping kitten. It was Wendy's shoe. Empty. I pushed through the gate and slipped into the neighbor's backyard. The grass there was perfect, like carpet under my feet. A 5-piece lawn furniture set and a brand new gas grill, all of it looking like it had just come out of the box, sat on a patio nearby. And beyond that loomed the house itself, 3 stories tall with a dozen dark windows like sleeping eyes. It was also innocuous, so normal and expected, I couldn't explain why the sight of it chilled me. I walked past the furniture to the side of the house, trying to avoid detection from any of the windows. I don't know why I bothered. I came to the front of the house and the driveway. The view was more of the same. A block of houses more or less exactly like this one. Every porch light was lit. But something was missing. Cars. None of the houses had cars in front. Not on the driveways, not even on the street. There were just porch lights and footlights along the front walks, and a street light way down at the corner. There were lights, but no sign of people.
Hello, Peter. Did I scare you?
How did you get up here?
The same way you did, through the fence.
I was worried about you. What are you doing?
I'm sitting on a porch swing. What does it look like? It's a beautiful night out. No moon. Oh, without these lights, it'd be pitch black.
Wendy, we don't even know whose house this is.
They don't mind.
Well, how do you know that?
They don't mind, Peter. Believe me. They want us to be here. They want us to be here with them. Always.
Wendy, you're frightening me.
I know. Ironic, isn't it?
Let's get out of here. Let's leave now and never come back. We can go back to the city.
But all we need is right here.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Don't you? Don't you really? You must see it, Peter. You'd be blind not to. I was a mouse, a pathetic little girl. But they came and took all my fears away, every last one of them.
What are you talking about?
That's what these houses are for. They keep your fears locked up tight, and everything you ever worried about starts taking care of itself.
The house, the way all the dirt disappears.
I knew you understood. What are you afraid of, Peter? What are you really afraid of? Because whatever it is, they'll take it away. They'll make it all better. They'll lock it up in one of these houses so it can't get you ever again. And then, at the end of your life, there is a small price to pay. But it's really so simple.
Wendy, we need to get you to a doctor. You need help.
I have all the help I need, Peter. All I need to know is what you fear. They wanted me to ask you. They want to know what you're afraid of.
Why?
Because you've got to face them, Peter. You've got to face them before you can be free. That's what it's all about, facing your fears, seeing them up close. So close you can smell them.
Wendy, we need
Like I saw them that night you were gone. All of them, all at once, breaking in around me, trying to get me. It was only when they finally caught up to me that I understood.
Wendy, stop walking toward me.
You want to know a little secret? He already knows what you're afraid of. It's just better if you can admit it.
He who? What are you talking about?
You know who I'm talking about, Peter. Come on.
Give the devil his due.
And I turned, and I ran up the street. And as I went, garage doors started rising up. Front doors opened, even windows. Out of the doors there came things.
Cat, Freddy, cat, Freddy, cat.
Hey, kid, bring your dad cigarettes? Hey, kid.
Visions.
It was your fault, Peter. Without you, we would have stayed together.
We would have got divorced except for you.
You were a rotten kid.
People from my past, from my present. Dreams, nightmares, memories, everything I'd ever been afraid of was there.
You little pig. I'm telling your mother. I'm telling everyone.
It's you, Mr. Williams. Your wife's condition is caused by you. But you already knew that, didn't you?
I had to get out of there. I had to get out of there now. I got inside and locked every door. I can hear them now. I can hear them out there, somewhere. I wonder if they'll come for me, if they'll leave the estates and come for me, if they'll come over the fence or around the streets. I wonder if they came after Wendy, or did she go to them? Did she go willingly? Did she have a choice? Do I? Does anyone know if there's a way to keep them out? Do you? This has been The Estates. Your wonderful cast this evening featured
Scott Roberts
as the cop,
Karen Schickel as Wendy.
and Jeffrey Adams as Peter. Your sound effects crew, Piran Irwin on computer sound effects, Dave Irwin manipulating the props. Well, this is day one complete of the Bundled Up Theater Festival. We do apologize for some of the technical difficulties. Tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock Central Time for a night of romance. Good evening and, of course, pleasant dreams.